I should be going in there just as ready as I would do for anybody. Everyone makes mistakes, and with my opponents, they only make the one, and I'll be initiating on that one mistake.
So I know Danny Batten is a good opponent, but I'm here to win, so I will win.
His striking is from a karate background, so it's traditional style. It's nothing new to me. He's good at BJJ, again, nothing new to me. Everyone these days are well-rounded, and that's no different with my next opponent.
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
Keep your guard up. You're going to need to, and try not to make too many mistakes too early, otherwise it's going to be a boring night for the fans.
First professional mixed martial artist to the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, Ismael Padavia.
So we're on to the main card. This is where it gets tasty, the professional fighters. First up is Ismael Padavia. He's a Frenchman fighting out of the Kraken gym. I must confess I don't know a great deal about Padavia, but I think he's got everything to gain by facing off against the UK's Danny Batten. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Karate student. Quite interestingly, Padavia used to train under Emmanuel Fernandez, the man Batten originally beat back in 2005 to claim the Cage Warriors title. Also on his CV, he's the Pride and Glory featherweight champion, recently beating Lawson Tennant last December. Do you know much about this guy then, Ian?
Well, I know a lot about this title. Having fought for the title, I fought for the vacant title that Paul McVeigh gave up, and I actually fought against Emmanuel Fernandez. I lost by a triangle with a second left.
That's tough.
But, you know, these are good high-level guys, and the Cage Warriors title is seen as like the European title. It's a very high level. And Ismael Padavia, I don't know too much about him. I've fought Emmanuel Fernandez, top student, Emmanuel Gay, a couple of years after I fought Fernandez, and he had a very similar style when he got me to the floor, working, trying to keep my arms under my back, you know, trying to work that submission game. When I got it back standing, they're definitely not the best at the stand-up, but their jiu-jitsu is awesome.
It looks like he's also got a win over Olivier Pastor as well, so he's got some good scalps on his record, and that seemed to be his first professional contest.
Yeah, certainly, and he's been a professional for a couple of years now. So, you know, I think he's going to come here, he's going to be well prepared. He knows that he's up against it here. Danny Batten has fought probably the best names in not just Europe, but around the world, and he's been fighting at a top level consistently. So I think it's going to be a tough ask here, but Ismael knows what he's got coming.
Yeah, Batten might have been off the scene for a little while, but I don't think that was without trying. He had fights lined up, and one through another, something's happened, and he hasn't had that fight, but he's going to be keen tonight to do a number on this Padavia.
I mean, the question on everyone's lips here was Danny Batten injured?
Radio silence. I believe so. I mean, there's a lot of talk on the forums and things like that when these things come to, but you never really know. The camps know. Danny's a very professional guy.
I certainly know that Danny Batten would not pull out of a fight if he wasn't injured. Danny Batten is a warrior, a real true warrior.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome his opponent to the red corner, Danny Batten!
Speaking of which, here Danny Batten comes. He's representing Total Dojo. Now this man has fought all around the world. He hasn't fought since late 2008, but he has an impressive CV with opponents like John Kavanagh and even Inamari. He's trained with some great teams over the years, including the godfather of MMA, Lee Hasdell, Brazilian top team Zé Marcelo, who I believe awarded him a brown belt. He now represents his own team, Total Dojo and Milton Keynes. His energy levels are always so high for his contests. He's got very tactical striking, but if it ends up on the ground, then he's going to be more than happy there.
Certainly. I mean, I first met Danny Batten back in 2003 at a fight show, and then he was training with Lee Hasdell. You know, he's fighting at lightweight, and he's just perfected his game. He moved away from there. He started working his groundwork more, like say with Zé Marcelo. He now got a brown belt. He really worked his game. He's much better suited to the featherweight with his build. He started fighting at the featherweight, and he has just been a dominant force. Like at least 75% of his wins coming by submission, and that just shows how he really worked on that submission game.
Yeah, that's an impressive record. So how do we see this one panning out?
Now, with what I'm saying about the submission game, you'd expect Danny to want to take this to the floor, but Danny's got some good Thai boxing. I've seen him with some really good kicks, some good solid punches. Back in his early career, he had some really good striking, and I think it won't be too much of a rush to take this to the floor, but when he does, even from his back, he's very, very dangerous. I think I can see Danny win this by submission.
Yeah, I think that Danny probably is the favourite here. I mean, Padavia's got a record of 4-1. Danny's got a record of 12 and 5 and 3, so he's by far the more experienced fighter. And he's back here at Cage Warriors. He's been here before.
Yeah, certainly a 3-4-time Cage Warriors veteran, Danny Batten. And look at that, a very respectful fighter. Danny Batten marking his territory.
It would seem so.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a professional mixed martial arts bout in the Cage Warriors featherweight division to be fought over 3 5-minute rounds. Please welcome your first contestant, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 4 wins, 1 loss. He weighed in at 65.9 kilograms. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. Fighting out of Kraken, ladies and gentlemen, Ismael Padavia. And please welcome his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 12 wins, 5 losses, and 3 draws. He weighed in at 66.2 kilograms. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. Fighting out of Total Dojo, ladies and gentlemen, Danny Batten. And the referee in charge of the action is Martin Goddard.
For those not familiar with the fighters, Danny Batten's the man in the white shorts. Ismael Padavia is in the grey camouflage shorts.
Mark Goddard just checking the anklets there.
Another slight delay to Danny Batten's return. But we're finally underway.
Like I said, I expect some nice Thai boxing here from Danny Batten. He's got some good kicks, good punches. There you see that, nice and sharp.
Very sharp, set the kick up.
But his world is on the floor, but his stand-up is very, very good. But he's stalking his opponent here, stalking him back against the fence. Look at the intensity in his eyes.
Immediately you can see the difference between the undercard and the professional fighters. A lot more measured in their approach.
Certainly. Inside, outside low kicks, front kick.
I don't think Danny's blinked since this one started. He's absolutely focused.
But look, do you know what? I was going to say, as he was putting his hand down to defend the kicks, he needs to make sure he keeps his hand a little bit higher, and he just walked onto a right hand there, dropped him to the floor. He's managed to keep half guard, but he's going to have to recover from that.
Still, that was a punishing right hand by Padavia. He was waiting for that one.
Padavia needs to try and break away, get distance, and fire those shots in while he's got Danny rocked. You know, really try to work him. I think Danny Batten's, as we say, very experienced, nearly 20 fights. I think Danny will wait till his head clears and then start to work for submissions.
Yeah, he secured Padavia's neck already. But it looked like Padavia looked like he was trying a head and arm choke.
Yeah, I think Padavia was just trying to put some pressure on there. He'd not really got a submission. If Danny can get back to full guard, you'll watch how attacking his guard game is. So at the moment, he's probably still trying to get his head clear. But Padavia, as we said, training with Emmanuel Fernandez. And those guys, he will definitely been in against top-level jiu-jitsu guys, De La Riva black belts. Now, if Danny wants to keep this on the floor and wants to start to work his ground game, he needs to be careful to keep the action going, because Mark Goddard might stand this up quickly. At the moment, there's not very much action from either guy.
He's probably still recovering. That was a huge shot that he took.
And he dropped heavily as well.
He did, yeah. It's good to see him still in this fight. Padavia's corner looked quite excited.
Yeah, Padavia passed the side control then, and I think that's what he'd been working to do. Now, he's done the right thing, I think, here. Moving in, when you're in side control, move someone into the middle of the mat, because if you buy the cage, they can start to use that to defend. So he's done the right thing. He's in space, still working to attack, and I think Danny Batten is still rocked. Because this isn't the Danny Batten I usually see on the floor.
Yeah, he took a heavy shot in the opening seconds of this fight, and since he's found himself on his back with what looks like a pretty accomplished jiu-jitsu practitioner on top of him.
I think that's a good stand-up from Matt Goddard, because I see that coming. Now Danny Batten needs to keep his hands a bit tight and his chin a bit down. You know,
he's still got head movement. He's still very much there. Oh, he's taken another right hand though.
Yeah, if there is a criticism, he's just a little bit rigid with his head, but he's got nice legs, the leg kicks. See, that's better, keeping the arm tight.
Yeah, he saw that one coming.
But the thing is now, Padavia knows that he can damage him.
Padavia seems to be looking for the counter punch rather than initiating his attacks, but he's got a great takedown.
This is good work from Padavia. I'm very impressed with him. You know, for a guy who's had 3 fights against a guy who's had 20, he's doing very well.
I believe he's just taken full mount as well. I think that's pretty impressive. Danny Batten is a brown belt.
Yeah, a brown belt under Zé Marcelo. I mean, trains day in, day out with Alexander Isidro, who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and a high-level MMA practitioner, former Cage Warriors champion.
These are the unified professional rules, so elbows will be allowed in these contests, which Padavia is using to his advantage.
Yep, we'll just start to see them.
Ooh.
I think this, I really do think Danny Batten hasn't recovered from that punch, because this isn't the Danny Batten I know.
Well, his shoulders are pressed against the mat. It's not like he's trying to escape his hips or get a better position. Or having said that, he's
we can see a submission attack.
Padavia looks has he got the arm there? It's very difficult to see from where we are.
Danny's defended it well. He does look like he's got the arm, but Danny's got his right hand set in place. It looks like he can just yank that elbow out.
Yeah, his left knee is on Padavia's buttocks as well to stop him from hyperextending. And that's the end of the round.
I think Danny Batten needed this minute's rest.
Yes, I think Padavia is definitely the happier of the fighters.
Certainly, and the less experienced fighter, I think, has won that round. You know, he got a good heavy knockdown. He's dominated on the floor. He's also got a takedown, and he's finished with that submission attempt.
Yeah, it was a big welcome back for Danny Batten. He got tagged early on, and he's found himself in a more submissive position, really, throughout that round.
Certainly, I think he came out. He had some good leg kicks, good attacks with striking, just pretty much how I expected him to be. He didn't look ring rusty at all until he got hit with that shot. Once he got tagged, you know, he seemed like his head was cloudy. He wasn't really working his hips. He wasn't working to re-guard, and he got completely dominated on the floor.
I think to be fair to Danny, I mean, he took such a big shot. I'm pleased he's still in there. A lot of lesser guys would have been it.
Do you know what that could have been? Yeah, so I agree 100%. That could have been the end of the fight. But we've now got a very different fight. We're going into the second round, and we've got the former champion and a more experienced fighter a round down.
Yeah, he definitely lost that round.
And Ismael will have the confidence that he knows that he can dominate Danny.
Yeah, mentally that would be giving him the edge.
Ismael trying to catch a kick there. Again, I just think it's dangerous to try and catch leg kicks.
I'm quite surprised that he was looking to get this contest to the ground. He obviously knows something that we don't, because Danny Batten's a master on the ground.
Certainly is, but I think the way that he dominated in the first round, he might be thinking, you know, that he can do more of the same. I think he was dominating because Danny was shook. I think Danny took, he couldn't really work his submission game. He wasn't working to escape, like I say, he wasn't using his hips.
Absolutely.
I think Ismael would be better to try and work and do some more damage standing first before he takes it to the floor again.
Yeah, if he was to use the same strategy in the first round in this second round.
But Ismael does look very strong in the clinch.
It's very good, very tactical. He's doing all of the essential things correctly.
Danny working to get the double underhooks. Back to the tie clinch.
Ismael's got to be careful of the knees. He's got a good plum guard.
Again, he's just jockeying for position. Again, for those at home, it doesn't look tiring here, but working for position in the clinch can be some of the most tiring work in MMA.
This is probably playing into Danny's hands as well. The more time he's able to clear his head.
Yep, certainly. I think that's what he needs to do. It looks a lot clearer with his head now. He needs to be careful again of the counter-attack.
Yeah, it's a lot snappier. He's back on his toes now. I think it's fair to say that he's back together, although he very nearly got caught with a looping right overhand.
Yeah, coming back with a knee of his own though. He's got some, like I said, some good Thai boxing, Danny Batten. And the one thing you can say about him, I mean, his fight with John Kavanagh, he got dominated in the fight with John Kavanagh and came back and won because he's just got awesome cardio. Really, really awesome cardio. So we know he'll be working for the full 3 minutes. Chopping little knee inside.
Yeah. Yeah, Ismael seems to have taken his foot off the gas a little bit. Some of those punches weren't so snappy. They're a bit loopy. Oh, he's got a couple on the break.
Yeah, he's got a very heavy right hand, Ismael. Danny Batten working the jab. An underused weapon, I think, in MMA.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Now, let's see if we can see some of that groundwork now from Danny Batten. He defended the takedown well. Now can he pass guard? Needs to be careful of the up kick.
Yeah, he looks to be wary of that. What's he trying to do here? I mean, I've heard different ways of throwing the legs to the side or moving yourself, or is it a bit of both?
Yeah, now what he's doing is keeping his hands on the knees so he can feel the full movement, so he can feel where Ismael's moving. I think he's just looking for the opportunity to get his leg past the knee or past the hips, and then he can start to settle down. Not enough action though for Mark Goddard.
Yeah, Ismael's got some good counter punch and he's working his way from the cage very well.
He had a good counter left up, but that was a good knee there on the way in there from Danny Batten.
Is it fair to say that Ismael's willing to take these knees to get this to the mat?
Well, as I said, I fought Emmanuel Gay, who was Emmanuel Fernandez's student. I caught him with a knee on his way in and knocked him out.
So it's maybe not such a great game plan.
I don't think taking knees is a good plan ever. That was in the Cage Warriors lightweight tournament. Ooh. So Danny Batten here starting to come through his ropey patch, I think. But still, again, not enough action.
Well, Danny's... Well, it looks like
he's looking slick,
going for a heel
fallen
hook.
into a heel hook there. He just fell into that heel hook.
Oh, but escaped well, turned out of it.
Very relaxed there. Do you see how he just relaxed, moved round?
Completely. No panic.
That's someone who spent hours and hours on the mat. So, coming to the end of this round, Danny started to come through in the fight, but I think this round could still be scored as even.
Ooh, he's close to sinking in a choke attempt there.
Yeah, I think it left that a little bit too late to attack for it. How would you score that?
That's a very good question. Ismael's counter-punching just seems to be that bit more aggressive. They are landing, although technically they might not look very pretty. They're connecting very well. Danny, he's more aggressive. I know that goes into the judge's eyes as well. He's taking control of the cage, but he's been taken down on a couple of occasions as well. So you've probably got to say that Ismael's leading this fight 2 rounds to nothing.
I would look at it. I think Ismael won the first round, and I'd probably score the second round even, just because I think Danny did some of the better work on the floor, and the majority of the fight was spent on the floor.
This third round's going to be key either way.
Yeah, certainly. I think the winner of this round is going to take it. But Danny's got a lot of work on his hands. And, I mean, like we say, he did well to get through that punch at the start, and so he started on an uphill struggle, but I think he's done really well.
So here's the third and final round of this contest. Danny Batten in the white shorts.
Again, sharp jab. I like to see the jab used in MMA. It's a good range finder and it's a good sharp shot to put on someone's face. Led with the right hand there.
Yeah, worked his way in with the right hand for the clinch. He's got underhooks.
See, Danny, again, I think he's too ready to let himself sit on the fence. He needs to get out, put Ismael on his back, and be the one who's dominating, because in the judge's eyes, this is effective aggression is coming from Ismael, not from Danny Batten. Danny Batten is the one defending.
He's doing very well to distribute his weight, though, and press Danny up against the fence. I think it's going to be very difficult for Danny to turn him.
Certainly, but Danny did well there to turn round.
Yeah, that's good wrestling by Ismael as well. He's really sticking to Danny. He's not giving him any space to breathe at all.
Yeah, I think Danny needs to either try and detach or maybe try to work a whizzer, force some sort of a position, because at the moment he's just losing out the round. Ismael's eking out a win.
Yeah, this is the final round. It's going to be key, as we were discussing before. It's looking pretty even to this stage.
Danny managed to turn him there. He did the right thing there. He turned him and then tried to go for the takedown straight away.
Be good to see some strikes from here.
Yeah, referee Mark Goddard again. Not enough action.
He's been very involved in this contest so far, as Mark Goddard.
I think his timing's perfect. You know, nothing much is happening. He's given them the opportunity to try and work their game in the clinch. Nothing's happening, so we'll break them apart and let them strike.
Ismael managed to reverse that and get a form of judo throw, and he's now ended up.
I think that's some very good wrestling again from Ismael.
Yeah, his wrestling's certainly impressed.
Because it attacks from the clinch and attacks to the legs and effortlessly transition between the two.
He's doing well to pass.
Great
Danny's
sit out
guard.
there from Danny Batten.
Yeah, he's sat out well.
The reactions here on the floor so quick between these two.
It looks pretty even. This is a very even contest.
Yeah, I think Ismael's kind of judo style is really matching up well against Danny's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and is really even things up to say that on paper experience difference between the two. A great matchup from the matchmaker Ian Dean.
Yeah, he's done very well with this.
Certainly Ian Dean, the best matchmaker in the UK, and you can see from the card here he's got excellent. So there's not long left here. Danny Batten coming from behind, but I don't think he's done enough in this round.
No, it's been pretty non-eventful, really. Nothing significant's happened to sway the judges.
Ismael again wrestling well, but Danny again defending well. Really slammed his hips there with the sprawl into the back of the head of Ismael, and he needs to look for a finish now. Danny needs to be searching for a finish.
Oh, it's good transitions by Ismael. He's, as I said, he's picking up a limb or anything that he can control to stay on. Danny.
Oh, there's a knee there from Danny Batten, and it looked to damage him.
Ismael's down, Danny's on top.
Danny needs to make the most of this, I think. He's not got long left. This could be the difference. That's the first real dent that Danny's managed to put in Ismael.
Oh,
Ismael kick to the head on the floor.
Yeah, he's earned himself some precious moments as well.
Now, that looked like an intentional knee to the head. Mark Goddard was very quick in there to take that point away. That could make a difference on the scoring. The last two rounds have been very close.
Yeah, that could be key. These guys have all been told what the rules are at least a couple of times this afternoon, so they should know where they're at. This is no different to any other contest.
So look at that flexibility there. Ismael obviously got a very good ground game. He's looking for the triangle.
Oh, he's slipped off. It's going to be difficult to secure a triangle with these guys being quite as sweaty as they are in the final moments.
And the experience of Danny Batten, he saw that triangle coming, but he's lucky. I think lucky is the wrong word against someone who's practiced that much.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have drilled that one a few times.
Just one or two. So this could be the final stand-up. This could be the final bit of stand-up for this fight.
I'd like to have seen Danny do a little bit more to pass Ismael's legs there when Ismael was on his back. He just seemed to be holding his ankles. And
he sat in a very low guard position. There we go, and that's a final head kick.
Well.
For a prediction?
Do you know what I think?
With the point deduction.
I think I'm going to have to say that Batten's nicked this. I think when you take into consideration the point deduction, it's possibly an even second round. He's finished a little bit brighter. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to go Batten.
I think so. I think Ismael won the first round. I thought the second round was very even, and I thought the third round will have gone to Batten because of point deduction. Now, if he's won that round or it was a draw,
it's really tight. I mean, this could so easily be a draw.
let's hand it over to the judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. After 3 rounds of mixed martial arts action, your winner by unanimous decision, fighting out of the red corner, Batten!
So just as predicted, Danny Batten takes the victory. I think that point deduction was probably key. But let's go to the cage where my colleague Ian Butlin has Danny in the centre.
Danny, that was a tough fight. You got knocked down heavily in the first round. How do you feel you came back from that?
Yeah, well, I responded after. Unfortunately, my style can be a little bit of, get hit, get woken up, or put to sleep as the case may be. That ain't happened yet. Get woken up and then switch on. I think after that hit, I started to come alive.
Well, you seem to come back from it well. What have you got planned for the future?
Well, this was merely just a case of stepping in and getting rid of the cage rust. And I want to get back on like top tier European level before I get too old. I'll be 37 January, so I have to make things happen for next year. Because after that, who knows now?
Well, certainly you've been fighting at the top level for about 5, 6, 7 years now. Is there anywhere you particularly want to go?
I've been at the top for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to have one more crack at seeing how far I can go. I've been out to Japan, I've been out to Vegas, and I would like to get back out to Japan again because I've never won on their soil. And more than anything, I want to have a fair shot out in Japan. It's always short notice. It's always absolute mayhem with a weight cut. I want to go out there fair and square, see if I can take on the top Japs.
Well, 10 years at the top, you've earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Batten.